Hey everyone, I hope everybody can hear. Good morning, good afternoon to some of you. Right, I see a bunch of us have joined, so I'm gonna kick it off. Thank you all for joining. Right on time. We start right on time. It's great to do another session of our quarterly partner catch up. In this, typically, James and I give our partners a sense of what's new at Accorian, what's brewing in the world of security, and what are some of the popular services that we're seeing with our customers, so that these are conversations that you can have with them, right? With that, James, over to you to set the context on the agenda.
Sure. So we'll go through some recent updates. There's been some awards, some changes around offerings, pen testing, and Go Rico, which I'm sure by now most of you folks are familiar with Go Rico. Some current services trends that we're seeing across the board, especially particularly with AI, that being the hot topic now. Um, some client challenges that we're seeing that I'm sure some of you folks are seeing as well. Some case studies, partner, how we could support partners. I think that's kind of the goal with these meetings is really how we can continue to expand and support you folks, support both of us both ways. So, and then Q&A at the end. So, some updates. To start it off, Aditya and the senior leadership over in India attended the Entrepreneur India Award show, where Accorian was recognized as Cybersecurity Startup of the Year. So we're pretty excited about that. With PCI, we successfully supported PCI Rock Audit for Cisco WebEx Contact Center. That was super exciting. We're very excited about that relationship and being able to support them. We're starting to get, I shouldn't say starting to get, we've really, I think, honed in on these large audits, large assessments for large global enterprises. And Adi and team have been doing a great job on delivering. So super excited about that. We're starting to see some really strong traction with our AI security assessment across NIST AI RMF, ISO 42001, AI chatbot testing, the high trust AI framework. And a lot of companies are unsure. We'll dive more into that later about how we're guiding clients on the implementation of AI. Companies that don't have AI as an offering but are using it across the company, they're unsure. What risk are they taking? Are there employees that are using it that have access to critical data? How do you manage that? And so Adi has done a great job of building out a program that I'll let him dive into in a little bit. Go Rico and the new MyCSF integration, which we're super excited about. So, um, you know, High Trust and MyCSF, we've been High Trust assessors now for years. The MyCSF integration was launched last year. We have so many High Trust clients that it only made sense. And Go Rico is finally really at a place earlier this year, the new version of Go Rico, which some of you folks have seen. We're very proud of and very happy with its growth and its capabilities. And so we're very excited about the MyCSF integration. Um, Again, about Go Rico, it's agentic workflows. We have several AI powered modules within GoRico that we're super excited about. And then, continue to focus on execution driven, outcome based security programs. At the end of the day, we're a security first company. We don't care about checkbox compliance. We care about you guys being secure and your clients being secure. Yeah.
So
So,
yeah, over
oh,
to you,
go
Jim.
ahead, Adi. Go ahead.
So over
No.
so about our pen testing services, right? You can see a bunch of abbreviations here, but at the end of the day, on the pen testing side, typically we're doing about a few hundred tests every quarter, right? We've touched upon 500 clients for whom we've done a pen test in the last 5 years. Our pen test is in line with OSSTMM, OS, NIST, PTS, etc. During our assessments, we typically are doing anywhere between 200 to 400 checks on network pen testing and about 400 to 800 checks for application pen testing. Pen testing actually, penetration testing doesn't really have a lot of third-party credentials that an organization can have, but we have both. We're a PCI ASV, which is a approved scanning vendor. We're also CREST accredited, which is basically a benchmark for how you can meet the requirements of CREST to be a pen testing company. Um, Also, our pen test leverage both automated scanners and tools and custom scripts to kind of give customers a comprehensive result. And all of this is bundled together on our reporting portal, which is PlexTrack, where you can track and detect and understand what are some of the vulnerabilities that your organization may have or your clients may have. These are general credentials that some of the team members have, whether it's CEH, OWASP, or OSCP or OSWE and the likes of them. Right? Over to you, James.
Yeah, so let's dive into GoRico and really the new features that some of you folks on this call have seen. I know we've done quite a few demos for our partners. And if you have not seen it, please let us know, reach out. We're happy to showcase it to our partners. Yeah, let's dive into GoRico. So everyone in this call obviously is familiar with the GRC space. We GoRico was originally built for internal purposes to manage all the different compliance projects. It wasn't until about 2 years ago that we really started to try out kind of a pilot with a couple clients, and it got good traction. So we invested quite a bit into developing GoRico and its capabilities. And now it's at a place where it's a night and day difference from where it was last year, and even earlier this year, I would say. The latest version, we're able to support every acronym out there and every framework that is relevant out there. And we have the ability, I think what's nice about GoRico and how we work with it is we're still small enough that if it's a custom framework, we could stand that up quickly. I know a lot of the other GRCs in the space take some time to stand up custom frameworks, but I think we're pretty proud about our turnaround time for custom frameworks. We have quite a few clients who have custom frameworks built out. So every standard that you're familiar with, and then many, many more, GoRico is able to support. We're using not a lot, but we're using AI in multiple ways to really increase efficiency. Policy and procedure development. There's the policy and procedure module within GoRico now has come a really long way, and it's AI backed, and it's been received very well from clients. Continuing to expand integrations every week. We have clients with custom integrations that aren't standard to most companies, but we're happy to build out those custom integrations as well. It's you could do a readiness assessment for all these frameworks within GoReco. You could do it self-paced. You could have us assist. It's really, we tailor it per engagement. However you are comfortable with using it, we're happy to support. The ability to reuse current evidence across multiple frameworks. There's no redundancy. That's the beauty of the MyCSF integration. Is when we were previously doing high trust projects where clients were using GoReco and MyCSF, the evidence had to be uploaded twice. It was a super daunting task. It took a lot of time out. And now that MyCSF integration completely eliminates that. We're fully up and running with that MyCSF integration, and we're starting to see some success that we're very happy with. And the efficiencies gained are night and day compared to using GoReco standalone and MyCSF standalone. Um, you know, GoReco has that real-time readiness status of where you guys are currently standing, where your clients are currently standing. It's you can have, however, one of the ways we're starting to use GoReco with clients is sort of from an MSP type model. If you guys have clients that you are hands-on with their compliance program, which I know some of you folks are, the ability to have all those clients in one place and quickly change the different clients from the drop-down menu. Adi can dive into a little bit of that later, but that's been well received, and we're super excited about being able to support partners in that capacity for managing multiple clients, multiple compliance projects, and even complex compliance projects. We have many clients now that are using GoReco that have 6+ active frameworks, or even 6+ audits that happen throughout the year. So streamlining all of that, aligning the audits to reduce audit fatigue, and just gaining efficiency for those security teams has been great. The trust page to show your credentials, you can show vendors, clients, and the facilitated transition without losing your old data, which has been a big part of one of the things we heard from quite a few clients. Adi, is there anything I missed that you want to expand on?
No, I think you pretty much covered everything. So these are some of the features. The next slide, James, is going to give you a quick 101. So in a sense, of course, like any GRC platform out there, right, they're all trying to find ways in which it could reduce effort for companies. We've built our own AI agents that is available as part of regular subscription. So whether it's a policy procedure generation utility or a policy procedure validation utility, an automated evidence review agent where it could review evidence coming in from through the integrations, or whether it's manual mapping. I know it was a big issue with a lot of our customers, the inability of them to, you know, typically if you've collected a lot of evidence, then going and uploading it for to each control was a very long and laborious process. This agent kind of took it away. You can just bulk dump all your manually collected evidence from your servers, on-prem systems, and then this is going to map it to the right control, and then it also does a first pass review to tell you whether that's adequate or not. And that's the screenshot that you're seeing on your right hand side, which is the validation analysis. And you can see control suggestions, which is privacy notice template GCF 113, right? So this has been a very, very used uh, utility to today that we have on the platform. Along with that, we also have the ability of doing a first pass review. We can You can do a security risk assessment using whatever evidence is available. The AI can do a first security risk assessment to tell you what are your current risks and the likes of them. And then there's also a vendor risk agent which can help you in answering incoming questionnaires that you may be getting from your clients. We all know how much time it takes some of our clients to get it done. Using this, whatever evidence is available in your evidence library, the questions could be answered automatically, right? So these are some of the AI features, and I'd love to show to some of you. I know most of you have seen it. If you haven't, then reach out to us. I'd love to show you. Along with that, it's still early in 2026. I want to talk about some of the key client challenges that we're seeing as a company and where we have seen the most amount of growth. The first is we're still seeing customers having a very hard time managing multiple compliance standards and the audit fatigue associated to it. Imagine you have six compliance frameworks like James was talking about, right? And you're doing audits six times a year. It's not fun, right? Because you have to collect evidence, you have to talk to the auditor, you have to get all of it done, right? We've been able to solve a lot of that by virtue of having, a lot of credentials in-house of audit, but also having a network of, auditors that we work with, who we bring on, and we conduct a lot of joint audits. But then we've been able to successfully formulate and roll out a unified compliance framework where, using Gorico without it, where at the end of the day, a lot of these compliance frameworks cross map against, across each other. So how do you create an overarching compliance framework? And then how do you consolidate audits? So we spend some time with customers to figure out, hey, which audits can you move up, which can you move to later, what kind of bridge letters do you need? So formulating a lot of that has been fun, and we've been able to, work with over 20 customers this year to come up with a plan of consolidation and moving towards a multi-compliance framework program rather than looking at each compliance program, in a siloed manner. Second is CMMC is coming up. The deadlines are fast coming up. So we're seeing an explosion in readiness because most customers, as you can imagine, were waiting to see if, everybody's doing it. And now that they're seeing it show up in RFPs a little more than before, we're seeing a spike in the number of CMMC readiness projects. And some of it is facilitated using Gorico, some of it is using our team. We are, a CMMC RPO, so we're accredited to conduct CMMC readiness checks. So that's a lot of projects that we're seeing a massive explosion in AI adoption projects as well, where we're working with customers to detect shadow AI, helping them with buying decisions. Hey, which is the right utility for me, right? We're helping them secure the AI setup on day zero. We're conducting a bunch of vendor risk assessments, ensuring that, hey, no third-party AI tool or model is using your data for training themselves, applying the necessary guardrails, and frankly having a nice AI policy and governance layer. Um, what I've noticed is in 2025, most customers want to deploy something AI, but then they realized that they didn't really get the productivity gains that they expected. This year's either about catching up and rolling out something more effective, or going back to the drawing board, looking at their use cases again and saying that, hey, these are tools that we should be working, or deploying internally, or these are the agentic workflows that we should be having in our product, and we're helping with some of that, right from design to implementation to steady state. We're seeing, again, supply chain risk doesn't change, whether it's, looking at third party vendors or even software supply chain. I think there's a lot of conversations about happening about it, which is, your intrinsic third party code, whether it's EU CRA, or if you have a lot of code that associate your product, looking at the third party libraries and ensuring that they have been patched or using the latest versions is becoming important. I think all of us saw what Anthropic did with Mythos, where it found a 28-year-old vulnerability in a Linux library, right? I'm seeing a lot of conversations about this happening again because, as you can imagine, if it's an outdated, obsolete, or of course insecure library in your code, this can be utilized to conduct an attack on your application or your client's application. And then we're also seeing a lot of vulnerability management also conversations, because as you can imagine is there's been a steep increase in CVEs. I don't know if any of you guys saw, but there's a notification from NIST about the CVEs, about how they're not going to review every CVE. They're just going to give the major manufacturers the ability to push their own CVEs, because they've seen a 300% increase in CVEs in the last 2 to 3 years, right? That's significant, right? they're clocking like a few tens of thousands CVs right now, which is a phenomenal number. This is a massive number. But how does one really grapple with this? So we're helping customers identify what are their vulnerabilities, but we're also helping them prioritize them and tell them, hey, these are the 5, 10 that you should be focusing on immediately, and these are your quick win vulnerabilities that you can, get fixed via patching, and then being more effective and diligent in our vulnerability management. So that's these are some of the key challenges that we've seen, and that what we've built around some kind of services, to help our customers through these challenges, right? Moving ahead, in the last 90 days, I've seen the following services be very, very popular with our partners. I think the first is the multi-compliance readiness and audit, HIPAA, HITRUST, SOC 2, ISO, NIST, all together as one package. CMMC readiness, as I said, has been extremely popular with us, whether it's L1 or L2, both. HITRUST E1. So we're seeing a lot of new companies, health techs, or anybody in the health ecosystem adopting high trust, but they're using E1 as the stepping stone towards meeting an R2 or being their first year credential. As you're aware, there are three types of assessments in a high trust. E1's the easiest one, with an asterisk. It's 44 controls, still a lot of work, but then we're seeing a massive, a steep increase in the number of customers and prospects looking at E1 as a stepping stone credential to showcase assurance to their healthcare customers. And our MyCSF integration really helps with this, because whatever evidence that you've collected for SOC 2 or any other sort of framework or anything that you've collected via integrations can directly be ported into MyCSF, which is high trust GRC platform for audits, and that's saving a lot of time. We're seeing a lot of AI security readiness compliance and testing projects. We're seeing an increase in EU CRA as well, surprisingly. We're seeing, believe it or not, between 5 to 6 leads come in every 2 weeks, right? Which is rare, considering that this is not a very popular standard in the US right now. But for customers who are selling into the to the US, so into Europe, if you're a product company or a manufacturer, you have to be able to showcase EU CRA compliance, which is nothing but software supply chain security, for the lack of a better phrase, right? So you have to disclose your SBOM, you have to ensure there's testing happening, all of that information is available to your European client. And we're also seeing a lot of advanced pen testing, so a lot of red team assessments, a lot of vulnerability management and TPRM following suit, right?
Adi, to piggyback real quick on the EU CRA, the other we're also seeing EU Data Act and EU AI Act that companies are looking for support in. And the common theme that I've seen with the folks that we've been working with is they're based in the US. The company is global, and they're looking for a US company to support them with EU CRA. That's the one commonality amongst all these leads that Adi had mentioned is they're they have offices in Europe, and they sell in Europe, but their main security operations for the most part are US based, and they're looking for US based companies to take them through EU CRA. There's so many companies that have to do it, and some of them really don't do much compliance at all, and so they're just getting their feet wet with um, the AI Act and Data Act is pretty intensive. So it's interesting to see across the board how now there's been a fire lit under some of their butts, and they're trying to get this done quickly.
Yep. Hi, James. So, moving ahead to the AI security and assurance advisory. So, we've been working with a lot of customers to help them effectively and securely roll out AI. Our Tiger team essentially can do a bunch of things, right from the design phase to writing up a roadmap to build out to assessing and advising on what's the right strategy that they have to have for a secure AI implementation. The next slide is, a list of some of the services we're doing, and I've broken it down into three parts. First is the AI strategy and advisory services, everything from how should the AI strategy look like, what should the rollout look like, what kind of tools or implementation do they require, and then there's a bunch of other sub services, whether it's security training or data access and permission assessment or AI architecture design reviews. We're doing a bunch of them. Once organizations have this in place, then we're essentially working with customers on the assessment, compliance, and the testing side. So, whether the AI security maturity assessment or an AI risk assessment, AI impact assessment, or the ISO 42001, which is the only AI certification standard out there other than high trust AI, right? We're also seeing a big uptick in NIST AI RMF and some US state AI law assessments as well. The testing has been extremely popular for us. We're seeing, most applications have a chatbot utility. So we're doing a lot of AI chatbot pen testing of those. We're doing a lot of red team assessments, things like, some scenarios could be, hey, can you poison my data pipeline, right? Which is being used to, train my models, right? We're doing a lot of shadow AI discovery. And then we have also built our own AI chatbot vulnerability scanner that you could, that customers can run ever so often to understand what are some of the vulnerabilities that the chatbot have. If you have a customer or a prospect who you think would be prime for it, write to us. We're more than happy to do a free evaluation of our AI chatbot vulnerability scanner. We've had a 100% hit rate in terms of finding system prompts or getting access to sensitive data. So I'd love to see that number, stay at 100%. But that said, if you have a prospect or a client and you're like, hey, you want to open up a conversation on AI security, I think it's a great foot in the door that we can provide to you as a partner, right? In my next slide, what I've done is I just wanted to quickly show you what does some of our AI advisory services look like. So we've put together day 1 to day 90 plan, everything from operationalizing AI, everything from understanding current AI usage, use case identification and prioritization, coming up with a rollout strategy, understanding on the product, what are the right AI workflows you should be having. Once you've operationalized AI, we can start securing the bases as well, which is inventorying current AI tools, shadow AI detection, doing a perimeter check. Hey, what kind of data has already been exposed about my organization on popular tools, and then doing like a data flow diagram. Along with that, it's very important to draft their first AI security policy procedure, bolstering some of their AI risks and threats on the secure web gateway or a 24/7 monitoring or a DLP or their email service, right? Employee awareness monitoring, so the likes of them, right? And again, on the critical AI tools, whether it's a code generation tool, or whether it's a customer experience tool, or whether it's their enterprise chatbot, working with them to deploy these with the necessary guardrails, protection, policies, hardening processes, and doing extensive testing to ensure that, hey, there's no situation in which there's an accidental or an incidental error happening because of the usage of AI, right? So this is just a brief summary. Most of your clients are thinking about AI, right? They've either deployed it in some nascent manner, or they have deployed it, to to in their product, or they've deployed some third party tools. It's very important to have those conversations with them, and I think Accorian can help with any phase that they're in, e- right from the start of planning to strategizing to identifying to securing, then to steady state, right? So we can be a part of any of the AI and AI security journey, right? So James, over to you.
Thanks. Yeah, so as most of you know, I know I saw some familiar faces in the attendee list. Most of you know that our success is partners play a big part in that. Chris, who's in here, has been here from the beginning, and so she knows she's seen the growth. And we're of the belief that your success is our success, and so we want to continue to support partners, and in every way possible. I see James is in here from our partners NGRC. We just did an event with them back in February at Vive, a great conference. Co-hosted a cocktail event and had great turnout. And we want to continue to collaborate with partners like that. And so I we've touched on this in the past, but I do want to continue to expand on this. And so, co-branded collaterals. Just to take an example from today, we're releasing a white paper that we co-branded with ZenGRC. So we're happy to co-brand on collateral, distributed to clients and our marketing network. Webinars like this, we're happy to co-host webinars. I know we have some in the works with some partners. And however, at the end of the day, what you think will be successful, we're happy to follow your lead and then provide input where needed. If you think Accorian could be valuable in certain conversations with certain clients or demographics of clients, we're happy to join and co-sponsor those webinars. AI security being a big topic now, we're happy to do webinars, co-branded material around how real use cases of how we're helping clients with AI security, mailing campaigns, the executive level workshops, CISO roundtables. We've had success with those in the past. We want to continue to do those. So we're happy to partner with you guys on those joint conference and booth events. Conference season really being Q1, Q2 is super busy, and we do better when we are there with partners. We support one another, and we're able to reach more people and provide more value. Co-branded reports. We do our vulnerability report every year that gets released in Q1. We're happy to co-brand that with you for you to distribute amongst your clients and prospects that you would think would find it valuable. Thought leadership, different pieces, whether it's an article, a case study, or a blog. And so however we could support you best, and vice versa, we're happy to explore. We want to expand your offerings. I think the unique thing about our partners is most of our partners, we do something they don't do, and they do something we don't do. So if we can make those introductions, bring you in where it makes sense, provide that value, and really have a one-stop shop for companies to go to, that's the value, and that's what we want to continue to do. And I think that is all I
Yep.
got.
Yep. And we actually had three very interesting reports come out. We had as James was saying, we had an annual vulnerability report come out. We had an annual compliance report come out, which is the first time that we did that, which is based on, over 500 engagements that we've done last year on security compliance and audit. And then we had an AI security report also that we came up with, which was based on all the findings that we had from all the AI assessments, testing, and audits that we've conducted in 2025. So pretty good read. What I've often seen is these reports help open doors, or they can at least intrigue the thought of a lot of your prospects. So feel free to reach out so that we could co-brand it and then send it your way. Right. With that, we're on to the last slide. You know, you all know your partner managers. So some of you folks, I work with you directly. James works with you. You have Brandon, you have Shalin. Any of these folks that you essentially work with, or Pranjal, right, will continue to be available. That said, if you ever have a query, you can always drop it to partners at the rate Accorian.com or info at the rate Accorian.com. And that's pretty much it. Um, if you have any other questions, feel free to ask it on this forum, or you can reach out to us. That said, it means a lot, having all of you partners be a part of our journey called Accorian. And as James was speaking about it, all of you folks have been a big part of our success and journey, and partners continue to be a big driving force in our growth. So thank you for all of it, and we're looking forward to the next quarterly webinar. That said, we'll be sending over this information to you, and if you have questions, feel free to reach out to us directly. And that's pretty much what I had.
Awesome.
Thank you all for your time. You have a good day.
Thanks, guys.